Alright, so right off the bat we enter turn 2. Everyone's marked up, it's all good. So on the bard, I start off with doing the first silence. So basically, I jump in, throw my dots on, throw out a straight shot, and then just do a rotation to do a few straight shots. Whatever, waiting for that first. It's about 15 seconds in, which there it is. I guess that was about 20 seconds in. And then I switch off. I say you're next to the other bard or the other person silencing, and so now you're safe to just go into your priorities, hitting all your shots, just doing whatever, trying to get all that DPS out. I actually sing the faux requiem, just normal faux requiem, probably about a few seconds of it, half my mana bar, no more than that, because I want to have full mana by the time I get to the boss, just to be able to sing again. So now it's my turn again on the silence, so I'm just using straight shot, just waiting. Has a fast animation, not have to worry about interrupting your silence, so just pop a few of those off. Waiting, there it is. We probably would have killed the boss if I would have went full DPS before that thing popped, but whatever, safe and sorry. So I turned it off for Requiem at some point during that battle, actually. But like I said, about a half mana. The other bard in here is singing mana song, so we can get mana back. And for the second boss, he'll actually switch over to faux Requiem, I believe, at some point. The second boss does the faux Requiem, or the repelling cannons, like right off the bat, which normally you have until after he does repelling cannons to silence his high voltage. But this fucker does it early. But again, like, it's another about 20 seconds in. Silence it, call out to the other bard or other person silencing to do it, and then go back into your full rotation. It's no big deal. I like to occasionally run up and backflip out. Sometimes you get hit with one of the cleaves of the boss. It doesn't do enough damage to really care about. But you will. So you gotta watch out for that. So now it's back to me silencing again. I'm just gonna be running around. Probably start doing some straight shots here. Yeah, right now I'm just waiting. The other bard has sang faux Requiem the entire time, so he's actually out of mana now. But the healer's mana is not looking too bad. This mini boss died real quick. No big deal. So yeah, we're good. The other bard, and the third boss, this one coming up, has slashing resistance, so we won't be singing faux Requiem on this boss. Usually I would sing my mana song immediately after, right before the end of the last fight, so that the healers would be at full mana, but their mana is high enough, I don't really care in this fight. These little mini bosses aren't anything that special. So same, all of these mini bosses are the same thing. Go in, put dots on, wait for the high voltage, silence it, call out to the other silencer to silence the next one in about 17 seconds, roughly. I think it's between 15 and 18 seconds, I don't know. Depending on if he does like that fire move, if he did that later, it would delay his high voltage, or repelling cannons will delay high voltage. So we just wait, keep going, put in that work, deeps in it, no big deal. Other silencer hits this one, and it's back to me silencing again. So I got about 15 seconds of safety where I can just DPS and not have to worry much about anything. So I'm just kind of doing my thing for the next 15 seconds. A note that I didn't actually do in this because our DPS was high enough and I was comfortable enough I didn't really care. But if somebody silences, like right then, if you put Venomous Bite as the other silencer on the target at the same time they silence, Venomous Bite gets down to about 10 seconds left on it, 9 seconds maybe. And you can get to about that point where you should slow down your DPS and wait for the silence, so you don't lock animation and then miss a silence. That's just something that I do sometimes. It kind of helps. Also, when your cooldown, after you silence, when your cooldown's at about half, 50%, a little bit over 50% of the way. That's on blunt arrow. Just call out like silence soon, coming up soon, high voltage is soon, 10 seconds, give or take. Just give a heads up so the other silencers might slow down their DPS or like wait for it. You know, a lot of the time, especially when you first start, you're just gonna straight up stop DPS and just auto attack and wait. Maybe 15 seconds, I don't know. Whatever you feel safe. Like if you start to wait and you're like, oh, it's not coming, and then you start shooting and it does start to go off and you miss it, it's bad. The mini boss is not so bad, but on ADS, it's the same thing. You need to hit the silence. I believe we might miss the silence in this one to show you how we recover. Definitely planned out for educational reasons. No big deal. So right now we're getting in a position. I'm not actually marked because I'm the go-between between 5 and 1. So after Stone Skinning, I'm putting the mana song on so Amber can get her mana back. But so basically what's going to happen is we do a C shape, 1 on the right, 2 right behind him, 3 in the middle, 4 in the left, and then 5 in the front and left. And then I'll be in the front of 3. And like I said, I'll be the go-between 5 and 1. So I'll go left and left, grab the rot when it comes, and then go back to the right and pass it off. So I start off with my dots, usually. I guess this time I was just like, I'll wait, and it was good because it came early. Then go into full rotation, call out the other bard to do his thing. Or the other silencer, whoever you have silencing. This boss will have slashing resistance because of the route we took. So it's very important, in my opinion, that you just pop quelling strikes basically on cooldown. You don't have to do it on cooldown. You only have to do the first one, honestly. I put the first one, pop all my cooldowns after the first silence, and I just go to town. All the cooldowns will be, all the buffs will be off by the time your next silences come at your turn for the silence. So, you know, you get a fair amount of damage in, and then by the time next silence comes, you hit it, call out to the other one again. The other bard actually has Faux Wreck going. I was about to sing it there, but I noticed he had it on, so I stopped. I wasn't sure if he's going to do it. These bosses don't have a particular order. They don't have the order like the first ADS in turn 1 has a... Alright, well you see me pick up the rot from Donato. I actually have him as focus target because when it gets to 5 seconds, give or take, I grab it from him. You can grab it when you have 6 ranged, you can actually grab it from him as soon as he gets it. I just prefer to wait, just give it a little cushion. It's not a big deal. He's 15 seconds to get it. I mean, I like a little bit of a cushion just in case someone dies. I need to pick it up or something mid-rotation on the rot. So the important thing here is to make sure you communicate very well. Do it a lot so everyone knows where everything is, where the rot's at. Always call it out, whose silence it is. Call out when it's the other person's silence after you silence, and then vice versa. So right now you'll see the rots passing around. It's back on Donato. I'm watching his thing. He came over to me this time, but to get out of the gravity, so that worked out. Everything's working out pretty well. I'm running it over to Ether, drop it off. You know, we're just mentioning me, Pete. This is basically, it's all about hitting your silences, and then just everyone else does their thing. DPS down. When you're the go-between like I am, it's really important that you have the focus target on the person you're first grabbing it from, because especially when it's a healer, they might not, you know, if damage is going big on the tanks, they might not notice. So you'll see the other bard died, so the next silence has to be covered by a tank, which we called out immediately. Tank, pick it, you know, Ether's dead, pick up the silence. This also complicates things because rot is now going to be passed out again, which went on to the other healer, the white mage. And you need to pay attention, know who's on, and then keep calm and keep the rotation of passing rotation, and also not missing silences. At this point, because there's going to be one of the bards is down and ballast is coming out and the gravity and all that, you might start to get a little bit flustered, and it's pretty easy to miss a silence, honestly, if you're having to run around and dodge a bunch of things. So right now it looks like the rot's on Ender. I guess I passed it. I picked it up off Donato, passed it over to the number 2 guy because number 1's dead still. So that's just how you do it. And you know, just keep going. I mean, there's not much else to this fight for bards. It's basically hitting that silence, and then if you're the go-between, going between and passing it properly. I fucked that fire up. It's slow. It's fucking. That sucks. So right here, you see me pick up the rod again from Donato. I'm trying to avoid passing the rot early. I have the rot now. I got it. And pass it off to Ender, it looks like. And you can see how easy it is to get caught up. I mean, there's all that stuff coming at me. I got slowed at some point. I have to, you know, you gotta watch the silence though. You'll see I'm watching the silence the whole time. Hitting it on the run, which is fucking awesome for bards. Which is why adding cast times would be stupid, like everyone's saying. So you see the other tank die, or the other healer died. So now it's getting a little bit risky. So I pop a limit break, healer limit break, as a bard. You know, that's how we roll. But you'll see I'll get hit with a piercing laser right when I get it off. And I actually got rot picked up, and nobody to pass it to. So I just stand in there and just wait to die. I basically was on the way to run up to the boss and die, because if you die with rot, he has to cast it again later. And there's no way I could pass it to somebody. I think everyone was locked out at that point. I mean, that's really important to notice.